How's it guys, Munash here, and today we finally have some Summer of Pain Week 10 action. I thought I was gonna make this video a couple of days ago, but last week was just so hectic, man. Like, I was even working on weekends just to make sure I hit these deadlines and all that. But yeah, anyway, better late than never. So today we have some Nick Fury gameplay, and we are taking this path with Venom, which is arguably the easiest path in my opinion. It's not too specific. Even the Adaptoid can be done with pretty much any champ as long as you can heal with willpower, I guess. So I actually took this path before I even started planning on how I'm gonna approach this whole thing. I just went with Nick Fury because, well, he's my favorite skill champ and I've gotten the most solos with him. Like, he can actually solo every fight in Summer of Pain. So I never had to think too much about it since I've already done all these fights before. But this time I had a different approach because there's still a Grandmaster boss after all these fights. So instead of getting them done quickly like in previous weeks, I actually had to save my decoys for the Grandmaster. That's a bit of a long fight, so starting it with just 30% health and not being able to heal up above that can be a bit problematic. So I really did try my best to preserve my decoy until I get to that fight, and fortunately the Venom fight is pretty straightforward. Doesn't even take that long with the decoy. I think I got him down in about 4 minutes, and yeah, Nick Fury works pretty well for that fight since you can actually knock him down, because it's quite easy to stack more than 6 bleeds while using the special too. So this is a very straightforward fight, and then you get the Hydra Adaptoid, who is not as straightforward. Main thing is the unstoppable buff he gets when he throws special attacks, because he does throw them very liberally, and a lot of the time he would throw them while I'm blocking, which is generally what I do to prevent them from throwing specials, like anti-baiting. But yeah, I don't know if it's just the way he's programmed, or because he has unblockable, he just wants to throw it, or it's just the AI in general. But that did make the fight more annoying, and also it's quite a long fight with Nick Fury, with the decoy that is, because, you know, without the Fury buff and him being bleed immune, your damage is not that high. It is very average at best, perhaps even below average, because all you have are those crits from your light and medium attacks. Can't even use special attacks unless you want to give up that willpower healing from the special 2 lock. But that is what kept me alive throughout the fight. I mean, I had about 340 hits. When he had 6% health left, I had 81% health. And I'm blocking a lot throughout this fight, like I'm even taking full combos on the block. But just having that max level willpower allowed me to stay very healthy throughout the fight. Until of course I got cornered. And I've been cornered a lot, but this time I got hit by a heavy attack and lost like 60% health because it just had to crit. So that was a little bit frustrating, and I had to heal up after that before the Grandmaster. So yeah, that was just annoying because I would have liked to do it itemless, but at least it was still reviveless. So I maxed willpower just before the Adaptoid fight because I was switching masteries for Alliance 4 defense. You can still do it with level 1, you'll just heal slightly less compared to level 3. And if you're using a better champ than Nick Fury, or at least a better champ than Nick Fury with his decoy, then shouldn't have any issues as long as you don't get hit. It's just a bit long and tedious if you don't use a good counter. I mean, it took me about 10 minutes with Nick Fury. I haven't even watched the recording of the entire fight because I can't be bothered, to be honest, but I watched it in double speed while editing this. I really don't expect anyone to watch the whole fight, at least not at normal speed, but if you do, then you're an absolute legend. So yeah, willpower was the real MVP in that fight. And then we get to the Grandmaster, who has the liability rule set. So its good news is the amount of tokens that can persist between fights is increased to up to 10. But the bad news is now you only need 3 blunders before it's game over. So if you want to solo, you do kind of need a champ who can complete all the little tasks he gives you. So I'm not going to go too in depth with breaking down this fight because I've already done that for the Act 6 Grandmaster, and it's pretty much the exact same fight. The only difference I noticed is the one in Act 6 has about 9.7 million health and 8,200 attack. And this one has 10 million health and 8,500 attack. Like, that's pretty much it. I did a Grandmaster solo with Corvus in less than 5 minutes. I think it was in November last year. And then in February this year I did one with Warlock. So you can check those videos if you want to hear me break down the whole fight as it plays. But I'm sure there are several other good Grandmaster guides at this stage. So the first stage is just you intercepting to get tokens, although you can't parry, dex, or use light attacks too many times. Basically they'll get banned, like a dumb merc. And if you perform those actions while they're banned, you'll get a blunder. Although usually if you're just throwing light attacks to intercept, then it won't get banned, which is what I usually do. But this is the phase that I kind of find the most annoying now, just because of how inconsistent his AI can be. Like, when you're backdrafting a lot, he can sometimes change how aggressive he is, or when he decides to actually dash at you. So you just gotta be careful with that. Then throughout the second phase, he'll give you 5 tasks to complete. Most of them are pretty easy to do, such as with an attack, gain a buff, or land a critical hit. Unless of course you're using champs who can't actually gain buffs like Red Guardian or who can't crit like Guardian, but those are pretty easy for the vast majority of champs. Then there's inflicted damaging debuffs, so you need a champ who's got some damage over time for that. Then finally there's Perform an Intercept, which is whatever, I mean that's more summoner specific than champion specific. So every time you complete a task, the number on the wounded icon will go up, and once it reaches 5 he does become wounded, then you can do all your big boy damage. Then in the third phase, things get a bit more interesting. He gets some passive power gain to replace his combat power rate, and now you're no longer special 1 locked, so you can use special 2s and 3s. And the best part of all, you get that inverted controls icon, which will trigger inverted controls once it ends, which does get paused during your special attacks. So you just gotta keep an eye out for that and carry on completing tasks. And now you get 5 new tasks to complete, which do include hitting his block, dashing back, knocking him down, parrying, and standing still. And for some of these you'll have to do them a certain number of times, such as the parrying one, hitting his block and dashing back. Standing still has a timer on it, so it's just a few seconds, and then it's just 1 knockdown. Then once all this is over and you get through the inverted controls, it will be in the final phase where he just has 1% health, but he will be infuriated with Unstoppable the entire time, unless you can of course land an intercept. So basically you just gotta intercept, do a few hits, about 3 hits I believe it is, and then back off and then try to intercept again. Fortunately he will be extremely aggressive, so it's quite easy to just backdraft the whole time. Then once that's done, you get 3 balls of power, throw your special 3 and take him out. So yeah, I quite like the format of this quest and the whole objective system where you have to use 6 different classes to get them all. It just puts more emphasis on planning, which is one aspect of the game that I really enjoy. And I usually don't spend that much time planning or take it very seriously, but this time I actually made a spreadsheet to map everything out, keep things organized. And also just to have something that's easier to share, because I have had a couple of people ask me what my plans are for exploring this map. So here it is in a neat little spreadsheet, and what's interesting about this is that I can actually use suicides for the rest of the paths. In fact, it would actually be beneficial to use them, even for Void, because I'm not going to use special attacks with polka dot power of course. And same for Adaptoid, just to maintain the willpower healing from the special 2 lock. So yeah, I think I'll just do summaries for the other parts when I upload the fights. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to doing all these parts, but of course it has to be within the next 8 days or so. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys found this interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.